Hello and welcome to this first Thoughts Eyes of Harmony, episode 10. That's the one. The Eaters of Light. I thought it was solid. Yeah, I enjoyed it. There were some problems
It was okay.
with it. I'm not gonna just kiss his butt, but yeah, I enjoyed all the side characters. They were all well acted. Everyone did a good job in acting, I think.
This episode's weird. I don't really feel strongly about it either way. Like,
Is it kind of in
I
the
know,
middle?
I know. I just can't really think of too much overtly strong about it, other than maybe some of the landscapes that they did and such. But nothing really too wrong with it at all, really. So it's okay. It's not really the strong point of the series, but it's solid.
Yeah,
I guess.
I think I kind of like to compare it to some Peter Davison stories. They're there. They're good. They're the ones which kind of fill in the gap of the series. That's what this one feels like.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't quite put it down as compared to some of those, because I think it's better than some of those. But one interesting thing I want to start on is Peter Capaldi's characterization in this is significantly more like the past two seasons than it has been for most of this season. A bit more grumpy and a bit more firm.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad point necessarily. Because that was kind of his thing in the first place. But I think it was an interesting change more than they have a strong.
Well, I don't know. I think it was like that in a bit in Thin Ice.
Yeah, but no more than. I mean, in that case, I think it was no more than the other doctors. The other doctors would have got angry in that situation as well. In some of the stuff in Thin Ice, I don't think he was overtly too much like he was necessarily. It's one thing to get angry, but it's another thing to kind of be grumpy, if that makes sense.
But in terms of a monster, heavy CG. Sometimes it look.
The first time I saw it, I was like, "What the heck? Is that a T-Rex with tentacles coming out of its mouth? What the heck is that?"
They did.
I mean, when you see it a bit closer, it looks better. But
it was hard to kind of distinguish what it was. There was so much going on, I think, that it became a little.
I mean, I guess I tried to go with the effect of not seeing too much of it, and it might make it scarier. But it wasn't a particularly scary monster, so I don't really see the point.
But yeah, I mean, I'm still a bit confused on why it was killing people, because it ate light. So I don't know. But I really, one of my favourite moments was when the Doctor went into that cave bit and then stepped into the blue area. That was a really cool moment. And 2 days had passed. That was really cool.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That confuses me at the end, though, when they go in to battle them. Why did the musicians go?
Moral support.
Yeah, I know, but it was a bit useless. It would have been better if that younger guy had gone. But what I loved, actually,
it wasn't brave
I
enough.
really liked was it was really smart by Rhoda Munro, but using the crow and her name as Car.
I still don't see what to think about that exactly.
I'm on the side if I like it.
In one way, I can agree that it's kind of okay. Yeah, that kind of extends to the crow's crow.
I thought it's pretty cool because it means that every time you hear a crow call, you're like, yeah, I'm always gonna think of Eaters of Light now.
On the other hand, I thought that was.
It was a bit weird, yeah.
I know. I thought it was a bit stupid in some ways. It was what? It was, yeah, confusing a bit.
But yeah,
I
think it's just one of the fun adventures, before the hard-hitting finale kind of thing. Well,
actually, one I'll have to say one joke that really did get me was the Doctor's over the body and he's like, God, it's they died because of loss of light, and I was just like, "Oh, Death by Scotland." Then, and I was actually like, it's one of the few moments where I've actually laughed like properly out loud, like while watching the series. Like I've been kind of mild snickering, but that's like one of the first times I've
Yeah,
just
I quite
outright,
like Nardole in this
laughed out.
one. And like I
Yeah,
liked how
yeah.
he like joined the cult and joined them. I was just like telling them stories, and being charming, and I really like that bit. Yeah, it was like that's
Hmm.
my patience running out, and Nardole like with popcorn. I thought it was well scripted. I think maybe it could have had a little longer, but it did feel a lot like a Sylvester.
Yeah, I feel like
Don't you think it
this is a weird one that would have benefited from being in last season, as in like the two parters, because like nothing is allowed
really expand
to
on?
like. I almost think they focus on the wrong areas. Actually, this is one thing I have to bring up. Like, first off, okay, actually, this is just one point I just remembered I was going to bring up. But first few minutes, where there's like just the kids running
Oh yeah.
around. I think it would have been a significantly better intro if they actually had the battle. Like, because we saw nothing of
Yeah.
it, and like it would have been cooler
No,
to
I
see a
think what should
battle.
have happened is
Uh,
the doors had opened and the Romans and Carl walked out. That would have been cooler. Because remember they said ghosts come and snatch you here. Like that would have been cool. Like they walked out there and they were like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then it's like something thousand years earlier. That would have been quite cool, I think.
mm,
Like they
that would
actually
have been.
lived because we
That
don't know
might
what
have been. That
happened to
might have
them.
been.
They kind of
Well, no, presumably. Well, the doctor said they only last not very long
yeah.
at the
So
end. I don't know. I don't know. It really cleared up. Actually, that's one thing they didn't put enough focus on, like what actually happened. They just sort of in the rock, but the doctor said they wouldn't last very long, and that's why he would wanted to go in himself, because like then they would like not last very long, but yet they kind of did. So how does that work, and what's happened to them?
yeah,
And
I think
it's a bit confusing. That was one bit which I thought they kind of glossed over too much, and then they spent like too long in stuff like the Roman caves and such. Like
they could have they
spent
could have
ages
got
there,
rid
and
of
it's
the
like,
first guy, and she could have just gone straight to the caves.
yeah,
She
pretty
could have
much. No,
run away from
this wasn't a.
Car. Then she bumped into the monster, and then she ran away from a monster, got to the caves. I think that chunk could have been cut.
And I think sometimes, as I said, there wasn't. And actually, comparatively, the Romans didn't get much screen time at all compared to the Doctor and Nardole with the
Car. Oh, what are they?
Scots. Yeah, just the
The
Scots in
pickets,
general.
the pickets, the
Yeah.
picts.
Yeah, they just spent a while with them and yet didn't get really much on the other side of things. Like, I don't know, it focuses on some areas which are kind of nice and then just doesn't quite expand on the rest of it, as I said. As I said, I think it might work potentially better as something slightly longer, but at the same time, I'm not sure the setup would have necessarily be the most intriguing to
Oh
be
no, I
that,
quite like it.
if
I
that
quite
makes
well.
any
They could have
sense.
held out a little
Yeah.
longer on where the Ninth Legion had gone. I think in a longer running time.
Again, showing that battle, because, well, not showing the entire battle, but like, I just wanted to see the scales of the armies going at each other, and then potentially like seeing Carr perhaps nervous at the cave entrance, then rushing back in, and that's potentially where the title
Oh,
starts.
that
So
would have been a good
something,
episode
something a
start.
bit
Actually, I
cooler.
think that would have been
Yeah,
good for the episode to start.
yeah, something. But it was. I really would have loved to have seen the beginning of that battle, because like the whole thing is about the mystery of the well, where they went, and like it was like. Yeah, it might have been nice to see, because I mentioned how
Yeah, they could have
like
done it. So
the Knights Legion was dominating,
yeah,
and like,
they could have done just like they didn't even need to do far out shot.
and then
Just Picts fighting Romans, and then
yeah,
her crouching in the cave. They're coming, and then we just see her. Then we just see the sun rise and the door open, and instead of fighting it, just running away instead. Intro
yeah,
sequence.
something like that. Yeah, and like that might have just seeing kind of the struggle and how like powerless. It might have helped, like, because Carl later kind of gets all emotional and stuff
Oh
about all the
yeah,
people that she's lost.
that
And
was
it's
a good
like,
speech there.
it was a good scene in itself, but it might have felt a bit more if we'd seen how they were getting destroyed earlier on.
Yeah,
Like, it's just all like kind of sad about this event that's kind of not really shown there. I think it could have been bigger had we seen a bit more of it, if that makes sense. As it stands, it was a pretty okay moment. It was kind of a nice kind of moment for her, and it was well acted. But as I said, it didn't quite leave the impression you would have hoped what they were going for should have done, as it were.
Yeah.
It's like it's an episode of like good ideas, and like some of them are quite well done.
Not
like,
fully
some
developed.
of them just aren't fully baked, as it were.
Yeah, so what I did like is Rona got to write the Master again.
Briefly. Very briefly.
It still felt like, you know...
And was it even Rona that, like...
I think it probably was. It still had that same feel that it was Rona. Moffat probably told her the way to take it, but I'm pretty sure he probably allowed her to write the words. I mean, he did for the other two, and I mean... Rona is pretty well known. I don't think Moffat needs to, give her any, editing. So I don't know. It sounded a bit like her, and I did like it. And I just feel like maybe the Master's having a midlife crisis kind of thing.
They're kind of beyond midlife.
Well, we don't know. You can't.
But the Master's already lived. Fair amount of lives.
Well, maybe
already, as when we saw him for the first time, he'd already used up 13.
Yeah, so this is halfway through his second, But
we don't know how many they had before that.
It's confusing, the Master's regenerations.
Yeah, and there's so many, because there's also one exclusively to the Big Finish audio as well. And then there's, implied stuff from beforehand, which we've only seen the very first Master a little bit at, Last of the Time Lords.
Yeah.
Which is kind of confusing because they kind of give the young Master that kind of the hairstyle of Roger Delgado, but that doesn't make sense in the context of where it is.
True. But anyway, yeah, I like that scene, and I mean, next week looks interesting.
It does.
So intriguing. It looks really well made, for starters.
Well, you'd hope so.
Well, no, I just, visually, you need, the last episode to be the big, here's the money.
It does tend to be where the budget goes into, though.
We need the money shot. With especially...
we've got that with Hellbent and such.
Especially with the Mondasian Cybermen. This is where people are going to start to worry with the John Sim Master returning and the Mondasian Cybermen.
Yeah,
But the Doctor Falls has got a runtime of 60 minutes, so there's that.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
So yeah, so it's about movie length.
And I'm quite excited to see John Sim as the Master again.
Yeah, everyone is.
Yeah,
everyone is.
It's he's so good as it. Just every moment on the screen, just seeing that moment in the trailer, it's just. Brings back all those memories from Sound of the Drums in Last of the Tunnels, and it's can't wait to see it. Can't wait.
I just love that. Give us a kiss. Such a.
I wonder who's saying it to.
The Doctor, it's got to be because they've kissed before, which was weird.
Yeah, that was.
That made me feel uncomfortable. Back when that happened, but anyway, yeah, it's got to be the Master. I'm just interested how John Sim's one's there.
Well, I mean, we've had multi-Doctors before. That's
I know. So I'm interested on what the logic is. It going to be something the black hole, time different?
Perhaps.
Narrating back.
An interesting thought I had. Well, actually, but regeneration back is something which I think I don't know if that would happen or not. Maybe not. But one thing I thought that would kind of make sense is if Missy's, as we've seen in the arc, is possibly softening up, maybe John Sim Master's kind of the other half of the personality, as it were. So if it's if Missy's starting to go kind of softer, maybe John Sim Master's there to kind of reaffirm those values back.
Yeah, that's what I think. I'm thinking, but I'm just wondering how he's there and how it fits in between, last of the Time Lords and the end of time.
Yeah, and he has a beard, which wouldn't really make
So
sense in
I'm
many
going
places.
with it's after the end of time. That's what I'm going
It would
with.
have to be, yeah.
Because he's got the blonde hair. So that means there's still a regeneration that we need to see. So that would be interesting. Oh wow! Okay.
Although, no, we did speculate though actually that they never even revealed where Missy fits in the timeline. So
exactly.
it could be before.
I'm possibly thinking that this is John Sim, where John Sim's going to regenerate into Missy. Then Missy's going to send Missy back in time. So then that Missy gets to this point. Like an entire weird arc thing. That would be weird.
Yeah, that would be weird. It also still doesn't explain the beard, because that would imply that some time has passed, and like...
Yeah, no, between the end of time, so after the end of time, John Sim's Master's still out there. In this episode, he dies, he regenerates into the younger Missy, then Missy goes back out, and it's kind of... It had to happen there, so then Missy got sent back to do all the Death in Heaven and, you know, all that. What's happened in the first two series. So this would be part of Missy's first adventure, and then also last. Because she's leaving, weirdly. I'm wondering how
actually, I'm not sure that's... Because, like, they definitely said that John Sim and Missy are on screen together.
No, but I mean, like, at the end, they could have two Missys on screen at the same time. Or, you know like what they did in Day of the Doctor? You know what they did in Day of the Doctor, where, you know, just at the side, didn't affect anyone else? That could happen. John Sim just regenerates at the side at the very end, and it starts a full circle.
There's a lot of ways this could go, to be honest.
Like... And, I mean, if this is Missy's, you know, last one, Michelle Gomez, as she said, I wonder what happens here.
Yeah, it's interesting. Will they have a new master revealed this time? Or, like... I don't know. Yeah, my secret internal hope is that we just get John Sim back, but I don't think that's happening.
That's what I was thinking.
He did say, actually, when they were discussing this, like, at the end of, like, Series 4, when David Tennant was leaving, John Sim was like to Moffat, yeah, I think it's time I went. And then he changed his mind, and was like, no, I don't want to go. But then they decided to go a different way with it. But, like, if John Sim still wants to do it,
Well, it's such an iconic character, you know, I wouldn't give up being the Master. No way, not for a long while.
Of course not,
I mean, you only have to do a few episodes a season, it's not like the Doctor. The Doctor's a lot more work and effort, but the Master, you could do some other stuff in between, so, like...
Of course.
It's not too bad.
My secret internal hope, which, as I said, I don't think is going to happen, is that they just bring back John Sim for the next Doctor.
No, I mean, if they can bring him back here, it doesn't, you know, that means in, you know, a few years' time they can still bring John Sim back, and it's, you know, between...
Of course. I don't know, I just want to see him on a regular basis, though. We don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, God, I cannot wait. But anyway, what do you guys think is going to happen, next week, or what did you think of this episode? So, comment below and let us know. Did you think it was meh? Did you think it was meh? Or did you think it was meh? Because it was pretty meh. It was a good...
Well, some people like it.
Good meh. But,
I was seeing a few... I kind of thick through reviews, and they were generally positive. So I think a few people thought it was better than that.
For characterization, I thought it was pretty strong. But there were some bits here and there which could have been a bit more solid. But the visually it was amazing. All those far out shots were just...
Actually, you know, one thing I want to point out is that actually a lot of the shots of like the hills and stuff actually did kind of bring back survival memories.
Exactly, yeah, it felt like very much like that, and it felt a bit like the Seventh Doctor kind of set up, really. You know, oh, where did the army go? It just felt very much like that. So yeah,
mysteries, yeah.
I think it's going on the scales of good and bad. It's going to the good side, but not too strong. It's kind of, yeah. But yeah, so thank you very much for listening. Yeah, comment below. I will see you next week for World Enough and End, I think is what it's called. World Enough and Time, even. Which is a bit of a weird name. But I mean, it looks like from the next time trailer that Mondas is still about at the moment.
Yeah, this could be probably a prequel to 10th Planet, then I presume.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is where it begins. And they're just scrapping spare parts. Or, because this is a spaceship, it's just happening simultaneously.
Yeah. As I said, that was leading into the Christmas special, where this kind of wraps round to the end of that, and then both of the Doctors are kind of dying together.
Holding hands. That'd be weird. Please don't do that. Leave.
Well, then the Doctor collapses.
The Doctor can leave 10th Planet alone. But yeah.
But it makes sense if they are having the first.
No. I'm fine with like the meeting, but I don't think it should affect 10th Planet. Well, I mean,
no, affect 10th Planet. But as I said,
I just thought about it. You know, in 10th Planet, the Doctor collapses.
Yeah.
And disappears for most of episode 3.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
That's where they slip it in. That is going to be it.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That has got to be it. That is the perfect moment.
They're both feeling effects. They both know that they're at the end of their life cycles, and then they're just kind of during a last adventure together before they face their inevitable doom together, kind of.
Yeah. Cool. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we? So, we'll see you next week. Boy!